Welcome back to this special Zoom edition with our MP, John Nader from Perth-Wellington, but he's joining us all the way from Ottawa. John, thanks again for joining me.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for having me.
John, you are the Shadow Minister for Canadian Heritage, and you were appointed this year in 2021. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people don't understand this, and probably frankly, I didn't always understand it before I came here to Ottawa. But basically, we're the opposition members who shadow or who are there opposite a minister. So I shadow the Minister of Canadian Heritage. I'm there to critique and suggest and provide options from an opposition standpoint. And the Canadian Heritage portfolio is a wonderful connection to Perth-Wellington. Obviously, in Stratford alone, we have so many arts, culture, heritage organizations, not the least of which, obviously, it's Stratford Festival, but Stratford Summer Music, Spring Works, the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. So it's a wonderful connection from that standpoint. But there's also other parts of the portfolio to online content, the internet. All of that is coming up before the House of Commons. How we regulate the internet and while preserving freedom of speech, freedom of expression online. So it's a huge portfolio. It's one of the largest departments in the federal government. So it's an exciting one from that standpoint, and quite honored to be to have that shadow cabinet responsibilities going forward.
Yes, another big honor was you were able to get Bill C-219. Tell us about how that was on the table.
Absolutely. So that was obviously one that was linked to an event that happened in Stratford, but it was really designed to better protect young people and persons living with disabilities. So I was so honored to be able to table that in the previous Parliament, and literally by luck of the draw, which private members' bills are done by a draw and priority, and I was able to debate mine number 33. So I was able to bring it to the floor of the House of Commons, raise the issues, raise the concerns of the people in my riding. Who really had concerns about better protections for people with disabilities, young persons, and through that was able to connect with so many people locally and across the country who are passionate about persons living with disabilities and young people. And so it was such an amazing experience. Unfortunately, the bill itself didn't pass, but the attention and the issues that were able to garner attention, it was worth it. It was worth it bringing forward, and it was a wonderful experience.
Well, John, thanks for protecting and highlighting our vulnerable sector on a national level. I think that's wonderful. Thank you, sincerely.
Thank you.
Awesome news in terms of funding in 2021. Tell us some success stories.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so often we look at the negative, but there were some wonderful things we saw the last 12 months. Our local legions, those people who are highlighting and supporting Canadian veterans. We were able to see some funding come through for legions who were hard hit, obviously, in the last little while. We also saw some COVID resiliency funding for different municipalities who were able to pivot, that famous pivot word, to see them pivot to new ways of doing things. So we were able to see that for different municipalities, and as well as some of our small businesses. We talked a little bit about new businesses being able to come. So some of the government funding that came through over the last 12 months, last 18 months, really was able to help some of those places do that infamous pivot, as we talked about. So it was nice to see that. And at the end of the day, we as a community are all in this together. So when we're able to celebrate those successes, it's just wonderful for everyone.
And how do you see? I see all the subsidies the government has supported. You go to downtown Stratford, tourism, of course, was decimated, but the downtown is still vibrant. The downtown of Mitchell is vibrant. So I look at the downtown of St. Mary's is doing extremely good. So how do you think that played out in terms of a local basis?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we talk about the sectors that are the hardest hit and the last to recover, tourism, tourism, hospitality, and those are the mainstays of our main streets in all of our little communities. So seeing the support, was the wage subsidy, the rent subsidy, those are so important to keep those businesses hopping over the last number of months, and seeing how they were able to do takeout, to do different ways of doing businesses, keeping our downtown strong, keeping our community strong is just such an important thing. And so being able to have seen someone that have a small hand in helping shape some of those programs has been so important over the last little while.
And John, thank you very much for supporting local business, because I know it's a huge mandate of yours. So thank
Yeah,
you.
no, absolutely. It's my honor to do so.
Coming up next, we're going to talk with John about 2022.